Finally, welcome back to Cheaper Pop Culture, the only show on the internet that's not afraid to tell it like it is. Oh, wait a minute, that's what every show claims. You know what? Never mind. Now, some of you might have noticed that when it comes to the World Wide Web of Wrestling Entertainment Federation, Vince McMahon sure does like his big hulking beefcakes. But in addition to that, he's also figured out that another great use for meat castles is, well, selling meat and all kinds of other edibles. And by edibles, I mean actual food. However, as we've all learned from Top Chef, not all culinary creations are created equal, as some of the hawks that WWE has hawked onto the public are better than others. But now, whatever are we going to do? How can we possibly rank any of these foodstuffs? Well, fortunately for you, that's the purpose of this Cheaper Pop Culture episode, because today I give you... Okay, to be clear, this episode about Cheaper Pop Culture is ranking the top 3 best food products endorsed by WWE, not food products that were made for WWE, so don't be expecting those ice cream bars to be on this list. I'm talking about foodstuffs that were independently made outside of the House of McMahon, and then somewhere down the line got an endorsement deal with Vinnie Mac. And also, just remember, this is about the best food products, so don't start endorsing things like Stacker 2. I don't care if it is a Fred for free, that stuff is garbage. And furthermore, we are specifically talking about food and food only. That way we can avoid all the other weird commercials that WWE does, like Cricket Wireless, which features all of those lazily designed CGI people interacting with WWE wrestlers as they act even more over the top than they normally are. Which even includes The Miz, who is somehow acting like more of a cartoon character than the cartoons that are actually on screen with him. Oh, and just one more thing about Cricket Wireless. Despite all the commercials I've seen for them, I don't really know what the service is. What are they, like a burner phone or something for drug dealers? Is that what they think all wrestling fans are? Anyway, all this talk has got me a hankering for some rancoring. Or something. Anyway, let's get into the rankings. First on the list is KFC, and I know there's some people who have a weirdly loyal following to this stuff for some reason, as if it's the greatest thing of all time, and they're probably going to be mad to see it ranking so low on this list, treating it like I didn't put it here at all. It's still number 3, it's the bronze, that's not bad, it's okay, so shut up down in the comments section. I mean, it's better than nothing, and if you want to know why it's number 3, well, there are actually 3 reasons for it. Number 1, it's not Popeyes. Number 2, it's not Popeyes. And number 3, well, at least it's not Popeyes. Anyway, when it comes to the Colonel's secret herbs and spices, they lended themselves to WWE for some reason, with a series of commercials featuring WWE wrestlers wrestling as Colonel Sanders.
Here is your winner, Colonel Ric Flair!
Oh, and by the way, I'm perfectly aware of the rumors out there that ever since they changed their name from Kentucky Fried Chicken to KFC, that some people really believe it's because they're no longer using real chicken. But that is just complete and total nonsense. And don't call food not real. That hurts its feelings, ever since this was a real chicken. I mean, never mind. Point is, if you think that this was a chicken that was grown in a lab because it's cheaper than serving actual chicken, then I really want to know what scientific laboratories you have access to that makes you think that was a viable option. And also, let's remember that it says, chicken right here. But, I'm sure that the people who still believe this rumor can't read in the first place, so it doesn't matter. Oh, and random factoid, did you know that a Kentucky colonel is not the same thing as a colonel in the military? Oh yeah, and I also hate the biscuits here. Alright, second to this list might be the most recognized item from a lot of WWE fans, and that's Slim Jim. I mean, what would these guys be without the Macho Man? And the commercials made it look so intense, as we could just snap right into a Slim Jim and make that satisfying noise. Am I doing it wrong? Macho Man Randy Savage was the spokesperson for Slim Jim from 1993 all the way to 2000, even though Savage would leave the WWF only to go to WCW. And along with Savage, the Slim Jim deal came along with him. But even though the Macho Man did end up taking his endorsement deal over to WCW, I gotta say, really not much of a loss, especially since it's pretty much just training wheel beef jerky, It's the thing you eat before you discover what actual beef jerky is. Oh, and don't worry, I'm not one of those nutcases who brags about specific types of beef jerky or say that real men eat venison jerky or whatever that is. Come on, this is beef jerky we're talking about. Being highfalutin about it kind of defeats the purpose. Listen, it's meat that doesn't expire when you leave it out in the sun. That should raise some questions, but it doesn't for some reason for me. Now, this deal with Slim Jim was reportedly worth around $1 million, and seemingly it was worth every penny, since it has been said that most of Macho Man's first year with WCW was subsidized by his deal with Slim Jim, who came on to sponsor WCW heavily. Not only that, but how many people only knew about Slim Jim because of their ties to professional wrestling? And look, I'm sure there are plenty of old school fans out there who are irate that this is a number one on the list, especially because of how strongly they associate this brand with WWE. But the reality is, this is a ranking of the best food products. It's not about nostalgia. And the reason why it's number 2 over KFC is just purely because of how many fond memories it has to begin with. And if you notice that I just said that it's not about nostalgia, it's about quality, but then I said it's about nostalgia, well, you need to shut up more than you do. Also, admittedly, it's been a while since I had one of these, and I remember them being a lot better. Maybe they shouldn't be so high on this list. I just don't understand it. How could meat you get from a gas station possibly be bad? And now it's time for the number 1 best food item ever endorsed by WWE, and it goes hail to the chef. This is Chef Boyardee ravioli, and as Mick Foley said, it is the perfect ravioli for all mankind, probably because it's lined the shelves of fallout shelters and will fuel people to repopulate the earth. I also want to point out that Mick Foley wasn't the only one to get in on the act, as other wrestlers such as Booker T, Big Show, Kane, the Hardy Boys, and Chris Jericho all endorsed this canned pasta.
The Rock says, don't be a jabroni, eat your ravioli.
Now, I know what some of you out there might be thinking. You might be saying, hey Dave, aren't you from New York City? And as such, shouldn't you know real Italian food? But what did I tell you earlier? Stop calling food not real, especially when it is real. This is real. And by real, I mean it's, not CGI or anything. It exists, it's here. And besides, this is number 1 because it's clearly the best food product that WWE has ever endorsed. A can of Chef Boyardee and watching professional wrestling, that sums up pretty much my entire year of being 12 years old. And if you pity me for that, well screw you, you should have lived better.